Hello, this is Graceville Solutions, and in today's video I'll be showing you step by step how to design this business flyer right in Photoshop. So if you're ready, let's go. Alright, so these are the images that I'll be using for this tutorial. So I'll leave a link to these documents or images in the description box, so feel free to download them and practice along. And by the way, we'll be using an A5 flyer for this tutorial, so just go to File, New, and then you go to, and by the way, I'm using Photoshop 2023 for this, but definitely the method I'll show you works for any version of this software. So go to Print and then locate where you have View All Presets, and then go to A5 flyer, and you can give your project a title. So I can just say laundry flyer design. Alright, then of course I leave my dimensions at their default settings, my resolution 300, and yes, I go down and I click create. So the first thing I'm going to do right here is to create a new adjustment layer. Alright, so by the way, if you're using Photoshop 2023, of course you can customize your interface. So my layer options are right here, but like I said, if you're using any older version of this software, you can just find your way around it. I mean, the processes are still the same. Alright, so I come to my layer option and go down to where I have the fill and adjustment tab. I click this and I select gradient, and then I'm going to click the gradient tab, come down to basics, click the black and white. Okay, now I already have the color codes in my notepad, so I'm going to include this in the documents that's okay I'll be uploading for and then give you the link to where you can download this in the description box as well. Okay, so I copy this, I click that rather, Ctrl V to paste, I click OK, I go once again to my notepad right here, copy the other color code, the hexa code, Ctrl C to copy, and then I come here, okay, I click this, Ctrl V to paste. Alright, then I go right ahead and click OK, I click OK once again. Then what I'm going to do right here is that I'm going to come to this and click reverse, then come to linear and select radial. Alright, so this, it kind of gives you this cool sort of it's okay, gives that the light effect at the middle and the darker parts at the edges. Okay, so I click OK. Alright, so next up I'm going to bring in my background. So I go once again to my documents. I like to open this each time I'm doing any design. I like to open my documents or images in a new tab in Photoshop. Okay, so but you can also import it into directly into your work area. Okay, just a personal preference. Alright, so what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to desaturate this background. Now to do that, I just hit the shortcut that if you're using a Windows computer, okay, I hit the shortcut Ctrl Shift U. Alright, so as you can see here, the document or the image has been completely desaturated. So I'm going to drag it into my work area like so, and bring it somewhere like this. Okay, so I'm going to resize it to ensure that it fits properly, just to ensure that the middle is properly centralized. Then what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to go to my layer options right here, and then let me rename this as, let me just say sunburst. Okay, sunburst image. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to go to my blending options. From here I go to something like overlay or soft light. Okay, let me just zoom out so you see clearly. I can go to overlay or soft light. Okay, I think overlay is cool. Okay, let me just go with overlay. Okay, you can use any option that works best for you. So what next I'm going to do right here is that I'm going to reduce the opacity. Okay, so I come to my opacity tab right here, and then I'm going to drag it down just to reduce it. So as you can see, I just want to fade the sunburst image into the background, just give that cool effect. Okay, you can also fade it further. I think 20 is fine. Alright, so next up I'm going to bring in my another image. Okay, I think I'm done with this, so let me just close this tab. So I'm going to bring in my another image. That's the image of this bubble. Okay, let me just go with the washing machine. So I'm going to right click and I say open in Photoshop. Alright, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to bring this into my work area. So I'm going to drag this and bring it into here. Right, so I'm going to drag it so that it fills up the space a bit, something like so. Then I click this icon to drop my tool. Alright, so next up I'm going to go once again to my blending options, to soft light or overlay. Alright, so next up I'm going to okay, let me rename this first. Okay, so I'm going to rename this as washing machines. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to give this a masking layer, create a masking layer for this image. So I go to my mask option right here, I click this. Alright, so what I'm going to do next is that I'm going to take my brush tool by pressing the letter B on my keyboard, and then where I have your color, the foreground and background options right here, now ensure that black is set to the foreground. Yes, ensure that black is set to the foreground and white is set to the background. So what I'm going to do is right here is that this arrow, I'm just going to click this to swap the positions. So as you can see, black is now at the front or at the foreground. So I'm going to brush off a part of this image. Let me just zoom out so you see clearly. Right, so I'm just going to brush it off. Okay, just cool, something like this. Then let me brush off the edges so that it will have that smooth effect at the edges, something like so. And then I'm going to position it something like this. So once again, I come to my opacity layer, to the washing machine image layer, and then I go to my opacity right here. Okay, and then I turn it down just so that it won't be too loud on the background. Right, so I think 28, 29, 27 is cool. Alright, so next up I'm going to bring in yet another image. So I'll go to my documents folder, and yeah, I'm going to bring in this bubble. So I'm going to right click once again and select open in Photoshop. Alright, so I'm just going to get rid of this because I'm done with it. Alright, so I'm going to bring in this bubble background straight into my work area, and then okay, like this, something like this. So I'm going to resize it to fill up some of the spaces. Alright, so once again I come to my layer options, I rename this as bubble. Alright, then I'm going to go once again to my blending options, and then go for an overlay, soft light. Once again, soft light seems to be my focal point. And then so I'm going to just fade it into the background. Alright, something like this. Then I go to my once again I give the bubble layer a masking, create a layer mask for the bubble layer. So I go to my the masking layer here, add the layer mask, come to my foreground, ensure it's black, pick my brush by pressing the letter B on the keyboard. So I just gradually brush off. Let me increase the size of the brush a bit, just brush off, ensure the edges are smooth. Alright, so I can brush it off like this so it doesn't interfere. Then I increase it to go a bit further, just to give it that bubble effect. I can also reduce the opacity a bit further. I think 25 is cool. Alright, so next up I'm going to start bringing adding my text. Alright, so I'll go to my notepad and I copy the word. I copy this. Then I take my text tool by pressing the letter T on the keyboard. The letter T on the keyboard. Before I do that, let me just group this. So I'm going to group the images, and select Ctrl G to select them as or rename them as background. It's good you always group related documents or images on your work area. Alright, so next up I'm going to take my text by pressing letter T on the keyboard. Alright, and then I paste. I've already copied it, so I just Ctrl A, Ctrl V to paste. Alright, now for this word I'm going to use the font Tribelt. I hope I got that correct. Alright, so I go to my character panel, type in, go to T, okay, press letter T, R, E, okay, yeah, that's it. Okay, I think I go for the bold, yes, bold. Let me change this to uppercase. All right, and then I go to ensure that my leading is set to 0, or my tracking is set to 0 rather. So I'm going to bring this, okay, something like this. And then okay, let me resize this, something like so. All right, I already have a color code I want to use for this, so I'm going to go to my notepad once again. I go to my, okay, I copy this, okay, Control C, then I come to the, okay, the text. I right click and I select blending options, and then I go to my create gradient, okay, gradient overlay right here, gradient overlay. I click this, okay, I come to the tab right here, click the first option, click this, Ctrl V to paste. All right, I click OK. Then let me zoom out. Then I go once again to my notepad, I copy this, and then come back to my gradient options, click this, and Ctrl V to paste. All right, so I think this is cool. All right, so what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to give this a stroke. So I go once again to my blending options. All right, I'm going to give this a white stroke. Okay, click this, go to, okay, give the white stroke, ensure it's set to outside. All right, something like this, and then I click OK. So next up, I'm going to go back to my notepad and, oh, sorry about that, and copy the, okay, copy the word laundry. All right, okay, I take my text tool once again, and then Ctrl V to paste, okay, ensure it's capital letters. All right, so I'm going to expand this. All right, so I also have a color code I want to use for this this text. So I go to my notepad once again, I copy this. All right, Ctrl C to copy, go to my the layer, text layer, right click and select blending options, and then I go to my gradient overlay, I click this, then Ctrl V to paste, I click OK and OK once again, then I go to once again to my notepad, copy the other color code, Ctrl C, and then come here, oh sorry, not that, click this, and then Ctrl C to paste, Ctrl V to paste rather. So I click OK, OK, and OK. So let me zoom out. So as you can see, it's all coming together. So next up, I'll go back to my blending options, go to, that's for the laundry layer, the text layer, go to blending options and give it a white stroke. Okay, apply the same effect. All right, now one shortcut to quickly, okay, get this done is that if you're going to use the same effect on the text, so what you just do is to, okay, instead of doing it all over again, just come to the blending options, okay, go to and then select copy layer style right here, copy this, then come to the other layer, okay, Control click, right click, then go and select paste. So you just like literally copy the entire effect from one layer to another. So that's a quick tip to get your job done in faster in Photoshop. All right, so I'm going to duplicate this both layers. So I'm going to duplicate this, right click and select duplicate layer, just to give that sort of 3D, just to give that 3D effect. All right, zoom out. So I'm going to select the other layer and just bring it out a bit, something like this. Just bring it out a bit. All right, I think that's cool. Then I come to the other layer. All right, let me bring this down. Okay, the other layer, right click and also duplicate this. All right, then I'm going to bring it out a bit, just slightly, to give that cool 3D effect. All right, so this is nice. All right, so next up I'm going to add the other text. I'm going to add the text and laundry services. So I'm going to copy this, hit Ctrl C to copy, and then I go to my text layers, take my text tool. All right, and okay, Ctrl A, then Ctrl V to paste. All right, so I'm going to bring this, okay, right here, and then I'm going to use the font Bibas. All right, so I'm going to click this, then come to my character panel and go to Bibas, or I can just type Bibas in the field. Okay, so this is what I got. Go for regular. All right, so I'm going to extend it, and then I'm going to give it like a drop shadow. So I right click on the layer and I go to blending options right here, and then I give it a drop shadow. All right, so let me reduce the spread a bit. All right, okay, increase it, just add it. Okay, I think this is cool. So I click OK. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to group all these my layers. Okay, the text layers. I'm going to hold my Shift key, then scroll down to the entire text layers, Ctrl G to group them, and name it main caption. So I'm going to duplicate this just to have a backup. So Ctrl duplicate group. All right, so I'm going to turn off one of the layers right here. Then I'm going to right click this one and rasterize it. Okay, first of all, convert to smart object, and then you rasterize. Cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to transform this image a bit. So I'm just going to I'm going to press the combination of the keyboard, 2 letters on my keyboard. That's Ctrl T to transform. Then I'm going to right click and select skew. Okay, then I hold my Shift key and then just take my cursor, just drag it up a bit, something like this, just to give it that sort of slanting effect. All right, and then I increase it a bit, something like so. All right, so next up I'm going to bring in my image. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to import my image. I right click and select open in Photoshop. Okay, drag and bring it into my work area like this. So I convert to a smart object, and then I resize this. Okay, all right, so I'm going to work on this image. So first of all, I'm going to rename this. So first of all, I'm going to rename this as image layer, and then I go to my filter and I go to camera raw filter. I just want to work on this image a bit, just do some tweaking to the image. Okay, so I go to reduce the exposure. All right, and increase the contrast, and yeah, just give it a bit of a black. Okay, black, increase the blacks a bit. All right, then just add some vibrance to it. Okay, yeah, so okay, reduce the highlights, and yeah, I'm done. Cool, so our image is looking sharper. All right, so next up I'm going to bring in the promo badge. So I go to my documents folder, I click this and bring it right here. All right, so I'm going to drag this and bring it to my work area. Okay, like so. So I'm going to give this sort of a shadow effect. I right click and go to just add some shadow to this. Okay, I drop shadow. Yeah, I think that's cool. Can reduce this just a bit. Okay, reduce the spread. All right, then I click OK. All right, so next up I'm going to draw a rectangle. All right, so I'm going to go to my shape tool right here, click this, go to my rectangle, draw sort of a little rectangle here. Alright, and then I come to my fill options right here. I click this and I want to give the color from the image. Okay, so I click this. Alright, then I click OK. Yes, perfect. I think it's fine. So I'm going to add the word, okay, services. So I go to my text once again and click this. Okay, just type the word services. Yep. Okay, drop my text tool, and then I go to my color options, the properties bar tab rather, and let me give it a deep blue color because I'm going to put it on the lighter option, lighter rectangle. So I click this, let me reduce it. So if you are having value from this video already, please give this video a like, leave your comments in the comment section, and of course if there's any part of this tutorial that is not clear, feel free to ask your questions, and of course I will attend to them as quickly as possible. Then of course subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll be informed whenever I make incredible videos on graphic design. Alright, so next up I'm going to add another rectangle. So I'm going to hold my Alt key, click and drag this. Alright, let me reposition this so it's going to fit in a bit. And then I hold my Shift key and bring this down. Okay, something like so. And then I'm going to give this sort of a deep blue. So I go to my rectangle tab, then I go to my fill options right here, click this and give this a deep blue. Alright, then I drop this. So I go to my opacity layer right here, then reduce the opacity. Alright, this is cool. Then I drop that. Let me zoom out. Alright, let me make the edges a bit rounded. So I go to my property bar, and yeah, I come to the property panel right here. Okay, let me just give this a 20 pixel all around. Okay, that's cool. So I'm going to copy the services, okay, and paste them right there. So I go to my notepad once again. I've already put them in the notepad, so I'm just going to copy all of them one after the other. Ctrl C to copy, and then I take my text tool. Alright, select all, then Ctrl V to paste. So I drop my text tool, then I position this. I'm going to resize it and bring it into my work area. Okay, alright, so I want this rectangle to be a bit visible. Okay, so I'm just going to give it a stroke. I'm going to go back to my layer options, the rectangle, then I'm going to give it a stroke. Take my rectangle tool, come to the stroke option, and then let me give it a white. Okay, then I come to, okay, let me zoom in so you see clearly. Then I come to my pixel options just to give it sort of a white stroke at the edges. Alright, so as you can see right here, there's this white stroke at the edges. Okay, just to make it stand out from the background. So next up, I'm going to group this and call them services. So I'm going to hold my Shift key, select these options, these layers, and group them as services. Ctrl G as services. Alright, perfect. So next up, I'm going to add another rectangle. So I'm going to add another rectangle to this, to the bottom here. So I go to my rectangle tool and draw another rectangle, something like so. Let me resize this perfectly, and then I come to then I'm going back to my documents, and then I'm going to import, okay, this into my Photoshop. I'm going to bring this into my work area. I'm going to click this, come out to normal layer. Alright, drag it into my work area over the rectangle. Now ensure that the image, okay, which I just imported, is above the rectangle, because I want to clip the image to the rectangle. Okay, so like I said, ensure that the image is above the rectangle. So I'm going to rename this as close. Alright, cool. So I'm going to zoom out. So I'm going to clip this close layer to the rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to right click and I'm going to select create clipping mask. So as you can see right here, I have successfully clipped the clothes into the rectangle. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just to resize the image a bit. Okay, right, I think this is perfect, this is nice. So what I'm going to do right here is that I'm going to add a stroke to the rectangle right here. So I'm going to right click and select blending options, and then I go to stroke. Right, so I want to give this sort of this yellow color. Okay, I'm going to go to the color options, then come to this, give it an orange or yellow. I think an orange is better, so I go with an orange, and I click OK. So you can also increase the stroke if you want to. All right, like so. Okay, I think 13 is cool. So when I'm done, I just click OK. So as you can see right here, our designs is coming together. If you have any value from this video already, please give this video a like, leave your comments, and tell me how you feel about this video. Okay, and of course don't fail to subscribe to this channel, because I make a ton of graphic design videos and tech tips as well. And definitely don't forget to turn on the notification bell. Alright, so next up I'm going to bring in my address and the contact details. So I go to my okay, let me just close this. I think I'm done with this. Yes, so I go to my documents once again. I bring this, I right click and say open in Photoshop. Alright, so I'm going to rename this as location icon. So I'm going to click this and drag it into my work area like so, and then I'm going to resize it, yeah, to fit into the work area. So I'm going to change this color to white. So I'm going to right click and go to blending options, and I'm going to give this a white color. I go to color overlay, change this to white or blue, something, of course, something that would match, that would blend with the background or with the image. Okay, I think this color is cool as well. So I'm going to, I already copied the address in my notepad, so I'm going to copy this right here, Ctrl C to copy, take my text tool, alright, Ctrl V to paste, click this, and I'm going to resize this. Okay, something like so, resize this. Alright, then I take my location icon once again, let me just bring this out a bit. Then I'm going to create a new layer. Okay, I'm going to create a new layer down right here by clicking this plus icon. Then I'm going to go to my marquee tab right here, my marquee tool. I'm going to click this and take my rectangular marquee tool, and then I'm going to ensure that the layer, the new layer I selected, ensure that the new layer you created is active. Okay, then I click this. Okay, I just draw just draw a little stroke, and then I come to this foreground and background color. I'm going to click this, and I'm going to select this orange color. I click OK. Then I go to my paint bucket tool right here, click this, and click inside the shape I just drew. Alright, so as you can see, I've given it an orange color. Then I go to my select option right here, and then deselect. Alright, so I drop my pen bucket tool. Alright, so this is cool. Alright, so I'm going to go to my notepad once again, and yeah, I'm going to copy the contact details. Okay, let me see if I included the phone icon in this. Yes, the phone icon is there, so I'm going to right click and say open in Photoshop. So I'm going to change the color of this icon once again to the same color I did on the phone, on the location icon. So I'm going to click this and bring it into my work area. Alright, so I'm going to change the color of this icon as well to the same we did for the location icon. Okay, so I'm going to bring it in here, just resize it so it doesn't look too big. So I go once again to my blending options. Okay, go to blending options, right click, go to blending options, and go to color overlay, of course the same color we selected for the location icon, and then click OK. So and then I take my text tool. I've already copied the phone number, so I take my text tool and then click here and Ctrl V to paste the phone number. Right, so I'm going to change this color to let me go to my character panel, change this to white or something the same color on this as well. Alright, then I can resize this so it doesn't go outside the canvas rather. Alright, so okay, one last thing, I'm going to readjust this. So I select all the layers for the contact details and I centralize them, just position them a bit so it will be properly centralized. And then okay, click this, click this, the phone icon and the contact details, the phone number rather, position them, click the tool, select the tool, take it up a bit. Alright, so our design is done and dusted. So this is how you can design a beautiful business flyer right in Photoshop. Okay, so if there's any part of this video that's not clear, feel free to ask your questions in the comments section, and of course I will attend to them as soon as possible. So thanks for watching, and if you found this video useful, give it a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel because I make a ton of videos on graphic design and general internet tips and tricks. So till I see you in my next video, take care and stay safe.